How y'all doing? I see 3 people in there, 3 likes. I'm early this morning. Y'all know I like to typically start right at 8 o'clock. We're about 4 minutes out from that good old start time. So y'all go ahead and get in here so we can get this show started. Fixing my coffee this morning. For those of y'all who care, it is Donut Shop Mocha Blend Coffee. If I sound a little tired, welcome to the chat. Good morning, blessings. Darrell Smith, JT Yard, what's going on, big dog? Hey, y'all in here early. I appreciate this love and support. If I sound a little tired, my bad, y'all. I was up all last night. I thought Bacardi was gonna drop that litter last night. Her temperature dropped and everything. What's good, fam? Yes, sir. So we got about 3 minutes before the 0800 mark, man. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button and share the video with anybody who wants to jump in here this morning. I'm kind of disappointed, y'all, because I really was excited, man. I just knew I was gonna start off this live, and hey, absolutely, man. It's supposed to be cold. My house in the garage already, man. I let them out to use the bathroom and everything. Of course, to get some exercise. Saki and I are doing a bunch of road work, so he definitely let him rest. Trying to get ready for this show up in Houston. This show up in Houston, March 24th through the 26th. I really want to go up and show some love and support, and just see what we can do. My team is really counting on me to pull this one off. I didn't make it to the Claiborne show up in November, and I feel really bad about that, man. I really feel like I let the team down on that one. But yeah, man. But yeah, man, I was so excited last night, dog. Like, Bacardi, man, I just knew she was only going. Like, I knew she was only going to labor last night, but she didn't. I checked her temperature, man. It had dropped down to like 97.4. I was like, yeah, man, tonight is the night. Right now we're at day 64 as of today. But her and Saki, I had them tied up. It was in the afternoon. It was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night when I tied them up. So that was a whole thing with that one. But yeah, we got about 2 minutes on the hour before we start. I like to start right at 8. I like to be very punctual. I don't know how some of the other channels do, but I like to be like right when I say I'm gonna start. So y'all got time. You need to grab some coffee, grab a snack. You know what I'm saying? If you're at work, this is a good chance for you to like kind of get your phone set up, get your charge plugged in, everything like that. I need to plug my charger in too while I'm at it, because I don't want to lose y'all during the live. Yeah. Go ahead and do this plug for my merch. So as y'all see, I got on the Samurai Kennels 3/4 sleeve baseball t-shirts. They're available on the site. Link in the description. I'll do better I gotta figure out how to plug the links into the actual video itself. I see we got 6 people but only 4 likes. Can we get them likes up, please? Let's get them likes up. I don't know if y'all know this, man, but seeing likes releases an endorphin in the body called dopamine. And for any creator, I don't care what they tell you about not caring about their views and stuff, man. Any creator really appreciates the likes and subscriptions. Good morning, bro. What's good, big bro? I hope you get to feeling better, but welcome to the live, bro. Welcome to the live. All right, y'all. It is now 0800 Central Standard Time, and it is time for us to actually get to your show. I owe this to you, so let's get right into it. Today's show is titled How to Become a Dog Trainer. This is your Wednesday morning wake up coffee talk. We're going to be dispelling some rumors this morning. So this is going to be covered in several segments, just like we do all the lives. And the first segment is going to be covered as such. Before we move on, can somebody give me a thumbs up? Let me know if you can hear me. I don't know how well I'm being heard right now, so if you can give me a thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. Before we get started. see. All right. So the first topic we're gonna cover is gonna be my philosophy. Hey, I appreciate that, JTR. My philosophy on dog training. In this segment, we're gonna talk about basically like what a dog trainer is and like why I feel like a dog trainer is very important. I think the closest comparison to a dog trainer in the actual game dog world is gonna be your handler, right? Not your breeder, and maybe your keep man too, but definitely your handler would be the closest thing I would say to a dog training in the game. But I wanted to put that in there and to kind of discuss my philosophy on that, right? Then we're gonna go into how I got started and what you can do. What's going on, Crockett? Salute. We're gonna get into how I got started and what you can do to get started in the dog game. I'm gonna dispel some rumors because there's a lot of talk about how to become a dog trainer, this, that, and the third. But yeah, man, like that's not the way we're gonna do it here at Samurai Kennel. Then we'll get into protection work and specifically concerning the American Pit Bull Terrier because that's what I breed and raise. And it's very important that you understand my ideology because it's not for everybody. And I do not expect everybody to get into breeding and raising American Pit Bull Terriers, specifically for bite work. I'm also going to talk about some fun and games that you can do with your American Pit Bull Terrier. Anybody can do them. I mean, like literally anybody. I don't care what kind of drive your dog got. That way you can have some fun with your dog. We're going to get into decoy work as far as like how decoys work and why it's important to have decoys. As well as what kind of community we will need to move forward with the Samurai Kennels project. Because yes, we do have a project that we're working on specifically for my kennel and my kennel partnerships. So let's kick this first quadrant off. This first segment, my philosophy on dog training. Hey, I appreciate y'all showing love to each other in the chat. That is dope. I really appreciate having another safe spot. The twins put on a great show last night. And I hope we can keep the energy rolling throughout the week, man. It's the Wednesday morning wake up. So, my philosophy on dog training is simple. As a dog owner or pet owner of any sort, at any level, I believe it is essential for you to understand and know how to manage your dog on and off leash. My philosophy is that dogs that are well-trained or at least meet the owner's intent typically don't end up running loose as strays, biting people, end up in the pound, or getting rehomed unless a rehoming is necessary, not just out of convenience. It is the most typical at this time of the year when everybody got their taxes to go out and buy a bunch of dogs that they're not going to keep. And these dogs can end up in a range of places from the pound to bouncing from home to home to running the streets. Hey, I appreciate that, Crockett. Links in the description. At your leisure, man. There's no pressure at all, man. If y'all want to support me, like the merch is the best way to support me. I don't sell a lot of puppies throughout the year, but if you want to support me, the merch is the greatest way. Now, as far as those of y'all who have never trained a dog before, you kind of got wives' tales. I used to believe in the wives' tales about sticking their nose in the pee and just different things about dogs. You know, I was even told, you know, for a pit bull terrier, you can spray water in their face to get them to break off or something. We was also taught a long time ago that pit bulls lock, which we know that's not necessarily the case. They have a really strong vice grip, but that's just intensity and that's just drive. So dispelling those rumors is very important to me for dog training philosophy. Now, my philosophy is based upon the fact that of a guy by the name of Ivan Pavlov. Now, Pavlov was this dude who he basically took these dogs and he had them all lined up in kennels. And so he took them and lined them up in kennels, and he would have lab assistants come in and feed the dogs every day at the same time. And he realized, based upon the lab assistant's skill level, some of the dogs were learning faster than others. So he wanted to remove that variable. So then he went to what's called automatic feeders, and he started feeding all the dogs with these automatic feeders at the same time every day. Now, before he would release the food to all the dogs, he would ring a little bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, ring a little bell, right? And so what ended up happening was, after a couple of weeks, the dogs would hear the bell ringing and would start to slobber at the mouth because they knew what was coming next. It was a conditioned response. That response we now call classical conditioning. And that's the basis for how I do my dog training here at Samurai Kennels. Now, Ivan Pavlov went way deeper into this when I'm going. I'm just giving y'all a service level understanding of the science behind how we do dog training here at Samurai Kennels. And for those of y'all who are interested in getting the dog training, or for those of y'all who are already doing it but don't know how to articulate to other people exactly how it is you accomplish what you're accomplishing, I just want to give you a way, not the way. So the classical conditioning is what Ivan Pavlov did. And it works really good for a dog when they're like food driven or toy driven. You know, you ring the bell, you show the food, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You get them to respond. Cool, great. But as we all know, with working dogs, they don't always listen. Like my dogs are super rambunctious, especially when they haven't been worked that day. So in order to have some kind of like control or checks and balances in there was another guy by the name of B.F. Skinner. I don't know what the B&F stand for. You can Google it though. Everybody got Google. B.F. Skinner came up with a training known as operant conditioning. So he used that Ivan Pavlov theory of, we gonna have a conditioned response and a activity or action we want to come from that response, and we're gonna reward them. Bing, give them food. Bing, give them food. All right. But B.F. Skinner was like, nah, we're gonna take it a step further. So B.F. Skinner goes, okay, we're gonna teach this dog to sit. We're gonna say sit, and when he puts his butt on the ground, we're gonna give him a treat. So boom, sit, bing, treat. Sit, bing, treat. After, some dogs, my dogs typically take between 30 and 40 repetitions to start understanding what I want them to do. All right. And typically for my dogs, I do 1 week per trick. So 1 week on down, 1 week on sit, 1 week on stay. And then I just reinforce it. Like once they learn it. So each trick gets its own week so I don't confuse them. All right. Now, once I know they know this trick, all right, typically by like the 100 repetition, which you can get 5-10 repetitions in per session. And with a puppy, I do 2 to 3 sessions a day. So you talking about 15-20 repetitions a day. It's about Friday. We're hitting around 100 repetitions if you're doing it consistently. A little short, 30-40 second splurts is all you need in those corrections. Now, I know this dog on Friday, Saturday time frame is starting to get it. Like I say sit, and he sits down when he wants to. So what B.F. Skinner goes is, okay, this dog understands the word sit, but he don't want to listen when he want to listen. He want to do what he want to do. So Skinner goes, now we need something in there, which is a negative response. So the bell or the word sit is the positive response. You do this, you get a treat. The negative response or the negative reward is, okay, now I'm going to tug the leash a little bit. Or if you use like choke collars or prong collars, I don't advocate for them and I don't advocate against them. I use them. Do what you want with that. It's completely legal. It's sold on the market on Amazon. I'm going to just say that. And so I give 2 little tug. The dog sits because he's like, all right, cool. Like, I don't know what that was, but I don't like that feeling. But as soon as he sits down, then I go back to being nice to him again. Boom. Good job, dog. Good sit. Okay, so we got the classical conditioning along with the operant conditioning. And that's the basis of training here at Samurai Kennel. Okay? Now, we talked about last week's episode about picking the puppy and all that stuff, management, health. That's great. But all of my episodes build upon each other. So anytime you don't understand what I'm talking about, please go back and watch the previous week's episodes or the previous episodes for the month. And you'll be able to kind of extrapolate and get the information you need to get what I'm trying to get at with these dogs. All right. So in this first segment, the first 10 minutes, we covered my philosophy on dog training. And I just kind of chopped it over with y'all a little bit. Moving into the second segment, we're going to talk about how I got started. All right, so when I was 15, 16, my uncle raised Japanese Akitas. All right, and my first time seeing a fully trained dog was my uncle's Japanese Akitas. He had 3 of them. He had one named Saki, he had one named Kazi, and he had one named Kimchi. And so with his Akitas, what he would do is he was like, Dre, watch this. And he would say, Saki, sit. Kimchi, down. Kazi, come. And they would all respond like, boom, this dog is sitting, this dog is laying down, this dog is coming to him. And he could say, you, down, you, come, you, stay. That was the level of training that I aspired to achieve one day. My uncle, mind you, has been doing this since he was in the Air Force. It's a family tradition. So it didn't just start with me. Like, this transcends just who I am. This goes all the way into my family lineage, whatever, and into the Samurai Kennels family. And so that was my first introduction to it, but that's not how I got started. So moving forward, flash forward, I get my first couple of pits, and y'all seen those stories. If you haven't, go back to the season 1 episodes. You can kind of see the stories of my struggles of actually like learning and how to get a good pit or starting to learn how to pick a decent animal, right? So I go through that process in life. I get in the military. I deploy to Kuwait. In Kuwait, I was afforded the opportunity to put on to act as a decoy or the person who puts on that big suit and gets bit by a military working dog. So when I got bit by that military working dog, something in me clicked. I was like, man, this is dope. Because the dog bit me, and when the handler said, out, get over here, this dog was biting me hard, yo. Like I'm telling you, I was bruised. I'm dark skinned, man. I was bruised through the suit. And when his owner said, out here, the dog let go of me and went back. And like, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, that's literally like on command. Like, I think about that movie Unleashed with Jet Li, where he had the collar on. You know, they take the collar off and Jet Li just go ham, and they call him off. They put the collar back on him, and he's cool. That's what it was like. And I was like, man, like I'm hooked. I'm hooked. It's my magnificent obsession, C.T. Fletcher style. And so that was the start. But there was no training there yet. I didn't understand what it took to be a dog trainer because I didn't know. There is no, if you Google right now, there is no one set way to become a dog trainer. So the first rumor I wanted to dispel is there's a specific school you go to be a dog trainer. Like you see them commercials for like ABC University or, master classes. None of those. There is no official authority on dog training in the world. So like right now, with no degree, with no certification, you can be a dog trainer right now today just by calling yourself a dog trainer. So that's the first thing. Knowing your credentials. This is why if you're ever gonna reach out to somebody, even for the game side, if you're gonna reach out to a handler, see their work. Like see what they're doing. Like know like that's the kind of work you want them to be doing because that person, if they can't show it to you, they probably can't do it. Or they might not be able to do it with every single dog. Right? So that's the first thing. There is no national accreditation for dog training. The accreditation that I'm going for or that I want that is the most widely accepted is known as the CCPDT. That's the Council Certified Professional Dog Trainer. This requires 300 hours of contact hours. So that means like I'll be getting with people to like sit down and do individual sessions and they keep a log of that. I also would have to fly to New York or one of the other testing locations to take a 300 question test to prove that I have enough knowledge of animal husbandry, care, upkeep, maintenance, and training in order to become council certified. So that's the overarching goal for Andre Williams at Samurai Kennels, is I want to be a council certified professional dog trainer. I'm not that. Right now, I just have some online certifications from an online school that anybody can go to. And literally for those online schools, a lot of people down them, you get out of them what you put into them. So I studied it diligently, and I was a fervent believer that if I put in the work, it would happen. And I received nothing but magnificent results from the online school I went to. And if you're interested in that, I can post a link in Sunday's video description to make sure y'all have opportunity to kind of check it out. I can even give you some suggestions on what videos or what classes to take from the online school I went to so you can get the same certifications. I'm not the kind of person that likes to hoard information for myself because honestly, what motivates me is competition. I'm a very competitive person. So if I see you doing something with your dog that I can't do, it motivates me to get out there and work harder with my animals. That's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a hater by any means, but I really enjoy like the competition side of it. What I'm trying to build is that community that I'm going to talk about in the final section. All right, cool. So that's how I got started. And then as far as my first dog for training purposes, it was like 3 or 4 years later that what's going on, Soul Power? Welcome. It was like 2 or 3 years later that I actually got my first Malinois. So I spent years looking for the perfect dog. And then my Malinois was a cross. It wasn't even a purebred Malinois. It was a German Shepherd bred to a Belgian Malinois. Now, credentials check. If you Google the DOD, Department of Defense, Joint Services, top of the morning, bro. If you Google the DOD's Joint Services breeding kennel in America, like the kennel that breeds all the American bred Malinois, Shepherds, and Dutch Shepherds for any agency here in America, it's right here in where I live at in San Antonio, Texas. The military working dog kennel, KMPV lines are bred right here in San Antonio, Texas. The program has been here for as long as I can remember. And the 2 dogs that were bred together, the German Shepherd and the Malinois cross that I got off of were bred right here in San Antonio. And they were being kept by a retired police handler. security forces. And so when I got him, I had done 3 years of training and preparing for this animal. And when I got him, the training really paid off, like 100% paid off, right? And so it was really important to me that to be able to do that with a shepherd. But that itch for the American Pit Bull Terrier is always going to be there. And I don't care what other dog I get or how else I try to feel that fulfillment. No dog does it for me like the American Pit Bull Terrier. None. So my reason for deviating and getting a shepherd was because I wanted to know, like, hey man, this is if I can't do it with a shepherd, I can't do it with no dog. That was my logic on that. If I can't do this dog training thing with the dog that's like supposed to be like the most optimal dog for dog training, then this ain't for me. And so I spent my money and it turned out really, really well. And I got that curiosity bug in me like, man, I wonder if I can do this with pits. And so I started delving more into the dog sports. And I started finding like, hey, like pits are doing the kind of work that I like to do. And so I started doing my research and I found Bacardi. And Bacardi's bloodline, you know, the Chinaman Frisco stuff, is known for having the ability to do all of that. So that was the move into becoming a training kennel or a trainer certified kennel. And so over the course of that last 5 years, I've been slowly developing my process in a way that so Soul Power, real talk, man, like this community I'm gonna build, like I'll give y'all I'll try to make sure I put it out there where y'all can check the segment about the community I'm building. If y'all really down into this for this protection work stuff, or just in general working them in new ways, like the community I'm building, like that's all what I'm for. I only want to build support for that stuff, man. Like for the game breeders and for the game people who are still out there in the game, whether you underground, whether you above ground, I respect all of y'all, and I got nothing but love for all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like all my dogs come from game lines, like working game lines. So like I wouldn't even have the dogs I have without that. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. But yeah, so that's how I got started into the dog trainer thing, like specific being certified. And for those of y'all who want to get certified, like I said, I'll put the link in Sunday's video. Also, hopefully I can have the video of Bacardi with her puppies, because I mean, like her temperature's low right now. Her breathing has intensified, but she hasn't delivered yet, you know. So we'll see, man, day 64. So we hit that 20-minute mark, and I like to keep my segments about 10 minutes at a time. So the first 2 segments we covered, my philosophy on dog training, that was in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then we moved on to how I got started in the dog game. Now we can talk about what you can do. So you as a person, we've already covered, I covered the CCPDT and the different certifications, but there's a lot of things you can get into if you don't want to become a certified dog trainer, or there's a lot of things you can avoid if you don't want to waste your money and time. All right, so let's first talk about the types of trainers and the things that they do. Because this is a misnomer, and I get a lot of medical questions about dogs from people, pit bull owners, and just regular coworkers and people who know I work dogs, right? And so I am not a vet tech. I am not a veterinarian. I have nothing to do with animal medication and welfare other than what I've learned from being a game dog owner and just having to take care of my dogs. I will always recommend you take your dog to a veterinarian if you got a question. However, if you ask me, I'm going to give you an answer if I feel like I'm confident with the answer I'm going to give you. And if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I just don't know. Pure honesty is all we worried about over here. But vet techs are people lump dog trainers into vet techs. That's not what it is. The medical side is medically certified and goes to college for it. Dog trainers are trained through typically apprenticeships through another certified dog trainer, almost like a private investigator. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to put you on. Or you put yourself on and you learn through just watching other people, which is kind of how I did. I pulled myself up through my own bootstraps. But what you can do is you can first understand what it is you're trying to do. There's different kinds of dog trainers. The first of all is the ones that I am, or that I consider myself to be a part of, and that's just your day-to-day dog trainer. I train basic behaviors, but I specialize in bite work. I really enjoy bite work. I really like the bite work side of it, and bite work and protection work are not the same thing. We'll move on to the protection work stuff in a little bit, but right now we're going to just talk about basic obedience and bite work. So for basic obedience, everybody can do it. Most animal owners should have some kind of level of understanding of how to do basic obedience. And if you are going to own one of my dogs, I would hope that you understand basic obedience because it's essential that you can control your animal, right? So we're gonna jump a step above basic obedience and go into working your dog and like basically things that I do. Look at a dog trainer as like a personal trainer for your dog. I'm there to help correct negative actions and to create positive behaviors. All right. My goal as a dog trainer is to teach you how to communicate with your animal, because if I teach your dog with my voice, it's not going to respond as well to you as it does to me. So my goal is to educate the person on how to get the responses they want from their dog. Also, while keeping the dog as healthy as possible through exercise and activities. That's what I do as a dog trainer, right? Now, what a lot of people mistake me for is an animal behaviorist or a dog behaviorist. That is something completely different, and I'll give you an example. A animal behaviorist or a dog behaviorist, that's what Caesar Milan would be, okay? Or like some of these other guys who claim to be these dog whisperers or these miracle workers. I'm not with none of that. I don't have a passion for it. I don't like it, because this is what I see when I see that. The personal opinion, I don't want to knock you from it, but I got to say what I think about it. Animal behaviorists are people who get paid to sometimes not even be able to fix the issue. As a dog trainer, look at me like a cook. Oh heck yeah, hog hunting would be is a big one too. That's more for the community. I'm not a specialist in hog hunting. I do small game with my dogs, but yeah. But as a dog trainer, what I do is I'm like a cook. You give me a recipe book and I can replicate that recipe. It's like a cook at a restaurant. It's not very difficult at all. As long as you know the recipe, you can create that behavior. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And I would hope that a lot of y'all would get into it, because the game is, or this game, the motto behind this is how you win championships is who got the most time or who got the most dedication. Also, whose dog is the most predisposition to doing the work that you're trying to do. For an example, I'm sharing this game with y'all because I want you to get into the behavioral game, because my idea is I want to do what Captain Forrester did and create an online challenge. We ain't got to link up. You can be in Cincinnati and I can be in Arizona, but I would have a course, like basically a lure course. You sit, you down, you long stay, you do a long recall, maybe have them bite something, right? Basically, you would be able to record a video and compete online through my registry, right? That's my dream. That's my vision. And I can't compete with people who don't know how to compete. That's not fun. I want to compete against people who at least have the general baseline for what I'm trying to do. And that's how you get involved in the dog training thing. You get into competitions and you make it fun for you and your dog. You come up with your own routine and your own way of doing it. All right. Back to the behavioral thing though. So animal behaviorists deal with items like, hey, when it thunders outside, my dog turns around and bites people or bites the couch, or my dog pees every time it sees me at the house. Mind you, trainers can deal with that, but that's a behavioral thing, because a lot of times it's genetic. And can you combat nature versus nurture? Absolutely. But as a dog trainer, you want to be more of a nurturer of behaviors, whereas a behaviorist, you want to deal with the animal's natural nature. Like, this animal's nature is this. There's a chemical imbalance. The dog's heavily inbred, whatever purpose. That's the animal behaviorist stuff, right? And then you have actual like animal nutritionists. That's another level of dog training where you simply focus on like diets, like a dietitian. And that's something that I don't really have a passion for. I just take the word of people who do that, and I'll pay them for their information and their knowledge. I don't mind sharing that. Or I'll do the training side of it and trade my training for their knowledge on how to do proper nutrition for my dogs. This is how we're going to like build a better dog community, by having a barter system, right? Even with items like, if I got a hide and you got a collar I want, and you say the collar's $30, I sell my hides for $20. I give you a hide and a half, and boom, we good. Because the half a hide you can use for a flirt pole, vice versa. But that's like how we get into it. That's how we build a strong community I'm trying to build. So if you just getting in here, let me give y'all a midterm or interim wrap up for what we've covered so far. We covered my philosophy on the dog training. We covered how to get started. And we covered what you can do. I also went over some of the positions in the dog training world that you can get into. Now, we're going to talk about my specialty. I want to bring y'all back in for my specialty that I like, and that is bite work. Bite work and protection work. So we are approaching the 30-minute mark, and if that bite work and protection work is what you're interested in, please leave a comment down there and make sure that everybody knows to go straight to the 30-minute mark to hear just the information on bite work and protection work. First things first, I already told y'all I got interested in bite work because I was able to get bit in a professional environment with professional military dog handlers. And even though it hurt like hell, I was just amazed at the level of like intensity that dog was biting me with and was able to just knock it off and stop. Now, I'm about to get real deep on y'all with this because I really, really have a passion for this, and this is what I do. First of all, shout out to my man Kari Lee out in California. If y'all are not following Kari Lee, Doggone Decoy, on Instagram, you tripping. Specifically if you want to get in protection work. Because like this guy, like unintentionally motivated me to get into it because he was the first person of color that I ever saw do this kind of work by himself. All right. And I'm not a racist or anything like that, but like you don't really see a lot of African Americans doing protection work. So when I talk about it, I'm typically around my Caucasian and my Hispanic friends when it comes to talking about bite work because it's just not big prevalent in the African American community. However, it's a great way to like enjoy your dog. Now, bite work is on different levels. So we're going to cover the 3 levels that we work on, and specifically the level I use here at my kennel. The first level is known as prey drive. Prey drive is essentially what your dogs do when they are chasing a flirt pole. There are some visual signs that your dog is in prey drive, and it's extremely important you understand this because a lot of people, I get a lot of hate on YouTube or hate speech. They're like, oh, you should be training that dog to bite this and the third. But I'm like, look, in a prey or play drive, the dog literally is not, the intention is not to cause harm. Some of the things you're going to see when the dog is in play drive is the tail is wagging, the ears are perked up, the dog almost looks like it's smiling, and it's focused on something. You know, prey drive is take your dog for a walk. Dog sees a cat or a squirrel darting across the street. That's that energy where the dog kind of tenses up and you feel it on a leash. That's play drive. You know what I'm saying? That's a usable drive, and that's why our work. It's Kari Lee. Let me look that up for y'all because I want to make sure I give y'all the. Man, I don't have Instagram on my other phone right now, but I will leave it in my videos. Actually, I'll leave a clip of him. He was on Rolling Smoke on documentary TV as well. It's called Rolling the Smoke, and he talks about protection work on there and his ideologies on there. But so yeah, so play drive, right? Like that's how I train my dogs in play drive right now. My dogs are not being stimulated in defensive drive or fight drive, which are the other 2 drives we're going to talk about. I do not have a realistic decoy that really is going to agitate my dogs, and I would never expose my kids or myself to that. So for those of y'all who are watching right now, please understand that like my dogs will bite you. However, that bite is not the same bite as if they were biting a complete stranger and like fighting for their life in a defensive or fight drive. All right, cool. Now, if any of y'all have ever raised American Pit Bull Terriers, you know that they're not really naturally human aggressive. So I need play drive and prey drive to get them to even do things you see in the videos. That's all prey driven though. Like the dog is more focused on the sleeve than they are on the person. However, I do show that there are civil aggression videos of me like grabbing my kids and roughhousing my kids where like Saki has natural drive to want to protect my children. This is that nature I'm talking about, like where I'm trying to breed that gene into my dogs. That's why I did a heavy inbreeding to ensure that I have the best chance of cultivating that specific gene out of my line of dogs. These puppies that are going to drop this week, this is Gen 3 of a 5-generation process that I'm working on right now. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to get to the finished product, but I'm like, you got to see the whole story to understand where we came from. We came from Bacardi to Saki, which Saki is the first Samurai Kennels joint endeavor, but these puppies are a pure Samurai Kennels production, and we're going to move into doing defensive work with these puppies because now I have a team where I will do defensive work for my friend's puppy. My friend will do defensive work for my puppy. That defensive drive is where you're actually really agitating this puppy, and you're gonna see that like the tail's tucked a little bit. You're gonna see things like me actually jumping at him and like coming in, looking like real weird, like kind of like all putting the puppy. A lot of dogs, not just pit bulls, but a lot of dogs, even here at the kennels at Lackland, don't make it through this process. The great thing about it is 90% of people don't give a piss about their dog ever doing protection work. So like the dogs that I let go for to like pet families or just the people that want to preserve the breed, like that's great. Like all my dogs don't have to do bite work. Just specifically the ones that I use that I work needs to do bite work as I go through my lineage and start to build my line of dogs. Like that'll be like my adorning quality. And some people will ask themselves, like, why would you want to do that? And I'm like, that's what I like to work on. I'm not pushing that on the public. I'm just telling you how to get where I got to. So if that's a community you're interested in, you can get in there in a safe and equitable way. All right, cool. So defensive drive is I'm actually like bothering and agitating this puppy in a way where it's gonna bite me, but it's not gonna bite and hold on. Typically, a dog in defensive drive is gonna bite, shake, and let go because it's just trying to get up out of there. All right, now there's a happy medium between prey drive or play drive and defensive drive where the dog is still wagging its tail and still showing those signs of like being engaged, but also where it is actually biting with the intent to cause serious long-term harm. And that's known as fight drive. And that's a drive that like, I don't even know if like, I might not have a dog that can do that for the next 10 years, 20 years. You know, that's a quality that the Shepherds just have. At Lackland, they have a 54% rate of dogs actually being able to achieve this drive or like meet the working class criteria out of Shepherds. So I'm imagining with the American Pit Bull Terrier, like realistically, maybe like the top 5-10% might be able to do it. So the odds of me being successful are extremely low without me having education in the community where I can have a broad net to kind of like filter in and get as many opportunities with dogs as I can possibly see for which ones can actually meet the standard. Because at the end of the day, these dogs are game bred and they were never intended to be man aggressive. Once again, I don't advocate for you making an American Pit Bull Terrier man aggressive. This is just my breed, and I want to do all the work that I want to do with my breed. I don't want to deviate from that. I don't want to add anything to the bloodline. I'm not adding mastiffs. I'm not doing band dogs. I'm gonna do this with pits. Oh, Crockett, a good question. Did I get into the personal and family protection work because of my military background? Actually, I didn't. And Kenner88, does the gender of the dog have anything to do with getting the gene or trait you're looking for? I noticed that male dogs are protective and female. All right, so to answer your question, Crockett, no. My military background, it just gave me the opportunity. It opened a door for me to actually get experience with bite work and seeing what it looks like when it's done the appropriate way. And as far as the gender of the dog, I've to give an honest answer, I don't know. I can only tell you what I've seen through experience, and this is all speculative at best. I don't know, but I believe this. I believe that male dogs have the propensity and size in this breed, specifically the American Pit Bull Terrier, to do the work that I'm looking for. Are there female dogs that can do the work? Absolutely. But the true, like the breed standard, ADBA standard American Pit Bull Terrier, a female is just not going to be the size that I would want for a man stopper. Additionally, because these dogs can do so much damage so fast, and the females are typically going to be my breeders, what I would be looking for in a female is a dog that has great obedience drive, and it is very, very nurturing. Like, it's going to take care of the puppies. But I'm looking for the drive to come from my male, honestly. From my program, I'm looking for my males to do the work, and my females to be very, very great, like just indoor, chill, outdoor, ready to work. They'll do road work, slap mill, whatever I want to, however I want to exercise them. But I don't really want a man aggressive female at all. Like, and typically for me, I just want 1 or 2 protectors, and the rest of them can just be dogs. Like, every dog I own doesn't have to be like a man biting like killer. The dog that I take on my morning walks, or the dogs that I take out to like be like my demonstration dog, that's the dog I want to be like fully protection trained. The rest of my dogs, I just want to enjoy them. I just want them to be like, you know, like just dogs. Take care of them, do the husbandry, see what traits they have that are not protection work traits that I just like. Like my dog Bacardi right now, she's pregnant with litter puppies. Bacardi is the most chilled American Pit Bull Terrier in the house ever. Like, she could be right here under my feet right now. You'd never know it because she's just chill. But you take her outside and you get her like a spring pole or a flirt pole, and she's ready to go. Like, she's a very chipper animal. All right, so we're moving into the 40-minute mark now, and I want to do an interim summary and kind of talk about what we've covered for anybody who's just joined. So we covered so far my philosophy on dog training, how I got started, what you can do to become a dog trainer if that's your interest, and protection work. Now I want to talk about decoying, or what decoying is. So decoy work is actually something that I think more people would get into if they understood it. Excuse me. Coffee got me a little indigestion. Sorry about it, y'all. Decoy work is probably the funnest thing you can get into, and I wasn't really exposed to it until I came to Texas and I met a friend with a ranch up in San Marcos. And I got in that fat boy suit up there and it was different. I said, we go, puppy won't bite nothing, but nah, man, I don't think she's gonna be a man biter at all, bro. I don't think she's gonna be a man biter at all, Walt. But you can cultivate whatever behaviors you want too. And that's my brother, y'all, man. You can cultivate any behavior you want out of the puppy. Also, sometimes with the teething of like younger puppies and stuff, 7 weeks, I don't think they teething yet, but with younger puppies, when they teething, they might not latch on to stuff either. If you got a dog that's latching on during the teething process or with the puppy teeth, that's a good sign that they'll do bite work. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna be protection certified either or worthy of protection work. That just means you got a dog with a hard mouth, a really hard mouth dog, which I think is awesome as well for work purposes. But as far as decoying, decoying is the person who wears the suit or the agitator. They don't always necessarily wear a suit. They can wear a sleeve. They can come in with a leash with a tug on it. But they're stimulating your dog to go into a prey drive, a defensive drive, or a bite drive. That way you're not the perceived threat or the engagement. So as an example, if you came over with your dog and you wanted me to protection train it, I don't need to be friends with your dog. I don't want to pet your dog. I don't want you to come up and like, hey, I want to. No, I don't want to know nothing about your dog. All I want to do is like you tell me what degree of training you want, and I'm gonna come in there and I'm intensify it. I'll come in. We'll do scenarios where like, hey, you're walking down your normal walk wherever you walk your dog at, and I'll go hide on the trail, and I'll jump out and I'll like stomp at your dog or whatever and come at it and kind of piss it off. And as far as agitating, like I'm gonna come in like this is not necessarily the most fair training, but it's true. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna agitate you, I might pinch it, pinch the rib a little bit or whatever. Stimulate this dog. Oh, thank you, Crockett. I appreciate it. I like to stimulate this dog into a position where it's in fight or flight mode, where it wants to attack me. I'm the decoy. That way you and your dog's relationship never change. Your dog might even hide behind you, and in that situation, I want you to try to like get me because I want you that dog is looking at you as the alpha. So if that dog tries to hide behind you because he's not used to the stimulation, I want you to come at me, maybe with your walking stick or whatever, and show the dog it's all right to like go forward and y'all as a pack to kick my ass. All right. And so that's my job as a decoy to help you build your dog's confidence to know when it's acceptable to engage somebody and when it's not. Because there'll be days where I'll come out on your walk. I'll meet you wherever you're at so we can do the work. And I'll come out on your little trail or whatever you walk on, and I'll walk up to you and I'll just shake your hand so this dog learns to delineate between, okay, threat or just passerby. And then, we do the same thing with the suit. We introduce the dog to the sleeves. We introduce the dog to the suit. We introduce the dog to different scenarios. And you stimulate your dog with a decoy based upon scenarios you actually live in. Like I see people like having dogs like run up the side of a house and go in the second story window. Who lives like that? Where are you at, John Wick? Like realistically, I walk my dogs through the neighborhood. A lot of times I'm out at late night riding the bike with them. Like these are situations where I want my dogs trained to protect in. I don't need my dog walking through Petco or whatever trying to like bite people's hands off. That's ridiculous. And I appreciate that, man. That's just ridiculous, man. Like, I don't need my dogs to be like just bloodthirsty savages out here biting people. That's not my intent. And that's why I'm doing these videos to raise awareness because my dogs are trained to the level of what I do. Decoy work is a great way to learn how to build up a pup. Yes, and it's a great way for side money. Everything I do, I'm sharing with y'all. You can actually make money doing it without ever having a dog or ever buying a dog for somebody. Do you know that the decoys for some of the S&P KMPV challenges, they get paid up to $800 a day, but you're taking some hits. Like I'll give you an example, and this is fun because this is stuff I know more. I know more about this than I do actually about game dogs. Like game dogs, I understand because I've read histories and I've talked to dog men. But like the decoy stuff and the protection work stuff, that's my specialty, right? That's what I really, really enjoy doing. I don't know if specialty is a word either. Gee whiz, y'all can Google that shit. But so decoying is something that you can learn to do. And I'm teaching my kids how to do it because not everybody knows how to properly catch a dog. There's something known as spinal compression. If a dog comes in full speed and it jumps and it hits your arm and you don't give to let that dog win and that dog, it compresses his spine, you're going to shorten that dog's service life. You can also knock their teeth out by jamming them when they come in for a bite. You jam your arm in their mouth. You can hurt them. There's specific catches you have to understand to do this decoy work. Like everybody can't do it. You have to be able to fall appropriately. That means like if y'all ever seen that video that I posted, actually the thumbnail for this is a clip of that video. There's a presser, a big ass presser canario that comes in and hits my shoulder and literally puts me on my face. Like my face is sliding in the dirt. Like decoy work is not easy. It's almost like being a stunt man. And it takes a certain kind of heart to do that. Like I'm a 195-pound guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm relatively cut. I'm a decent build. And some of these dogs, man, they come in, they hit hard. You know, a 70-pound dog will flip you. A 120-pound dog will drop you. And understanding the level of power gives a new level of respect for what these dogs are. And it kind of ties into this whole samurai kennel thing. You know, like the death before dishonor type thing, like being able to take that blow or looking for that beautiful death. I don't want to die by a dog by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a beautiful thing to be able to just like almost dance with danger. Kind of crazy, but people skydive. That's kind of crazy to me. But everybody gets their kicks, right? And so understanding that, it allows me to give advice to people when they're talking about getting into protection work. One of the best questions I've ever had somebody ask me, my favorite question is like, people go, what's the hardest bite you ever felt, Dre? And if I was ranking them, I'm not gonna give y'all the full rank because that's a Sunday video kind of topic. But if I was ranking them, I would say in my top 10, in no specific order, I would say the Rottweilers up there. I would say the Presses up there. And I would say with the pits that I have actually had the opportunity to be bitten by, they're not in the top 10. They are absolutely a dopamine rush. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I would say the pits that I've been bit by, like they weren't in the top 10. And I'm glad you put that in there, so power, because I'm more interested in, if I had to go back and do it all over again, the bloodline I would choose would be like a Mayday type dog or a bigger catch weight type dog. That's what I'm working towards anyways. So I'm located right now in San Antonio. I'm moving to Tucson, Arizona in August. When I settle in Tucson, Arizona, I will be setting up a stationary place to come and work out, as well as initiating my own kennel club. Not a registry. This is not a place to register dogs. I'm creating a kennel club where we can get together on Saturday or Sunday afternoons, and we can do everything from obedience work, scent work, and protection work. The three things I enjoy doing, right? At whatever level. Exactly, soul power, exactly. And that's why I wanted to reach out to you, and my brother Rose hit me up about you too, because this breeding right here is really, really tight. Bacardi is an inbred half-sister, half-brother breeding, and then she was bred back to her son. So these puppies are extremely tight. They are pure Samurai Kennels stuff. So I'm gonna need it out, and I'm looking at like Mayday dogs or Sorrow blood, because those two bloods are known for doing protection work already. So like that's the kind of like linking I'm trying to do with everybody. It's out there. Ain't no secret to the protection work side. As far as my game work side, y'all already know I'm heavy on Red Boy Jocko. There's nothing hidden about that. There's no hidden agenda out there. It's just it is what it is. Now, who I get it from matters, because it matters about the person. I want to make sure the dog man is on the up and up. And soul power, I see nothing but good work from you, bro. So decoying, like I'm teaching my kids that. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona about 4 years ago. Oh, absolutely. And I hope I love it. It looks like it has everything I want. They got javelinas out there, because I seen somebody posted, I think it was Crockett, posted about wanting to do hog hunting. So they got javelinas out there. They got coyote. And those are the two types of game that I plan on taking with my dogs in Arizona. I don't really believe in the hog time thing. Like, if my dogs grab it, I'm a blast it. Like, I'm not letting my dogs get chopped up too bad from a hog. Specifically because the javelina is a little bit nastier than the razorback or the other types of boar. But I always want my dog to grab it, have some fun. I'll come in with my 30-30. I'll bust that thing real quick for him, and then let my dog finish it, butcher it up, and use the meat to feed my dogs. Because I believe that my dogs work and they earn their keep. So yeah, so far we're about to hit that 50-minute mark. Y'all know every 10 minutes I like to do an interim summary just to let the people know what we've been talking about. So far what we talked about is my philosophy on dog training, how I got started, what you can do to get started, protection work, decoying. And now we want to move into my final segment, which is going to be what kind of community you need. All right, so cool. The American Pit Bull Terrier community here on YouTube is outstanding. I mean, like, I am drowning in pages. I can't even watch all the videos. Glock 10mm when I start hog hunting. Hey, so I got a Smith & Wesson 40, but I think 10mm and 40 are very, very comparable. And I want to say that you can use a 10 millimeter round in some 40 magazines, specifically Glock. Don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing. All right, that's just guesswork. Yeah, and oh, absolutely can. Hey, for real, bro. Another thing is with the coyotes, I think I'm gonna do trap. I think I'm gonna do trapping with the coyotes. With the pigs, I'll hunt them open ground, but with the coyotes, I think I'm gonna trap them and kind of get a look at them. You know, maybe just send a dog in there to dispatch them. But yeah, that 100% accurate. They also got some deer out there too, but I don't know if I would do deer hunt with my dogs because that could get real messy, you know. But if I downed the deer, that meat would be actually taxidermied, and I would get it butchered and do the deer meat for my dogs as well. I really just believe that to enjoy your dog, you gotta have activities you enjoy doing yourself, and with those activities, you'll have a happier life with you and your dog. Y'all always be together, always be together. All right, so the kind of community I'm trying to build. When I was stationed in Sumter, South Carolina, I used to have to drive 2.5 hours to the Swansea training club, and it was a Schutzhund club, right? And they didn't really do the pit bulls. They didn't really do like the Molosses either. They really was just like Dutchies, Malleys, and German. It was a shepherd club. And I felt kind of out of place there. It wasn't really my club. Like they had great information. I learned a lot about like actually upkeep and like maintaining a field. It's about a football field sized area. It had 3 sheds where they kept equipment, water, just different things that you would need for an entire day. Now these training sessions start at 7 o'clock in the morning and then at 7 o'clock at night. So it's an all day thing. So you got people coming and going all day, kind of like this live. Like people can jump in and jump out as they see fit. That's the kind of community I'm trying to build for basic obedience, tracking or nose work, and shutsing. And the flow that I learned at that club, like that club can't uproot and just come to Arizona with me. But what I learned from that club, I can bring with me to Arizona. But what I really would like is to create these clubs everywhere I go and kind of like leave like pockets of people who train this way, and then have like a national get together where we can get together. Even if we have to go to Tom Garner's at his pig picking and meet up there, and then have our own competition during that same weekend, like it's all good stuff, man. Like I don't want to take away from anybody. I just want to enhance or add to. But the flow of our training sessions would be if you got there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Typically, that was the newbies. You came in, you were out there with your pooper scoopers and your shovels and stuff, and you were raking the field and making sure the field was ready. If we needed to take the mower out of one of the sheds, you took the lawnmower out, and that was your contribution to the group. You actually maintained and you learned how to maintain a training area for animals. We went out with the backpack sprayers. We treated the area, and that way, by the time the more experienced trainers and more experienced or like the more vetted members showed up, the field was prepared for training and tracking. And so we started off the morning with tracking first, and we would create scent trails around this 100-acre area, and we had old pots and pans and things we kept out there, just stuff you found along the way, and we would have like different scents that we would hide, and dogs have to seek it out, right? Cool. So that ran up until about, I don't know, lunchtime. We break out for lunch. A lot of times, you brought your own lunch, bring your lunch box or whatever, or you would share. Like it was a very very good camaraderie like that. It was like 50 to 100 people out there, and it was very good camaraderie. Like, I didn't have everything I needed. I didn't have a harness or anything at the time, and it was just all shared. People just shared their stuff with me out there. Very great community, and that's the kind of community I'm trying to build. Even with the equipment that I couldn't find, they had links or like Etsy groups that sold exactly what you needed for that kind of training. So after lunch, we would move into obedience work, which was really, really fun because you got to see different levels of obedience. And I'm not gonna lie, like one of the things that was really humbling was I got out there and like with my training, I thought I was good until I saw other people working their dogs in person. I was like, whoa. Y'all hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. My alarm just went off. And I hope it didn't mess up the live. But yeah. So we went out there and like I never realized how. I appreciate it, Soul Power. Thank you, Tony M. I never realized like how like humbling it is to see somebody do something with their dog that you thought your dog could do, but then hey, I appreciate all that. Man, the dog word is so secretive. Great knowledge here, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, it's you got to be able to be embarrassed. You got to be able to be embarrassed. I get embarrassed, or I ain't gonna say embarrassed. You gotta be able to be uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable if you really want to do this, because every channel I watch, regardless how many followers they got, the followers don't matter at all. First of all, but regardless how many followers they got, every channel has something to give. Like I never did bike work with my dogs until I met my brother, and my brother put me on. He showed me how to gradually work into bike work. Now, mind you, I'm this YouTube channel. I'm dropping knowledge and sharing information with people, and so like people just, I guess I put unnecessary pressure on myself, or people put unnecessary pressure on themselves to just be perfect all the time. But you're not gonna be perfect all the time, right? Like there's days where I go outside to shoot a video and my dogs just don't feel like doing the work that day. You know what I'm saying? And y'all need to understand, like on my Patreon, I show all my struggles on my Patreon account. It's a paid account, but it's paid because I'm giving you my experience. You're paying for my experience. Here on YouTube, I'm sharing experiences, but not in their depth. Not what I was feeling or not what it took to get there. I'm just giving you a broad stroke. Uncomfortability does create growth, absolutely. And it also teaches you to find your inner self. You got to find what's real to you. If it makes you uncomfortable enough to quit, that's not for you. That's not your game. You're not game in that subject. You can become game in that subject, but if you quit, you're not game in that subject. That's not for you. This is also going to help you to achieve your goals faster because you'll know what you're going to stick with. Funny story about that. My Patreon account, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I really don't know how to use Patreon like that. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to post that link in the description and share it with y'all. Oh, you know what? I figured out how to do post on YouTube. So I'll post a link to my Patreon on there. But yeah, my Patreon it's a little bit more involved, and I have the Samurai tier for $3 a month, and then I have the Shogun tier, and that one would be like you could say, hey Dre, I want to see you teach the dog to do this, and I would teach that specific lesson. But that's $20 a month, but that's on request, like on demand, like you requested, and during that week I would release a video for that type of training, right? Specifically to what you're asking, or I would contact you directly, and we would do a live chat about whatever it is you're trying to do one-on-one. Do I do over the phone talks? Absolutely. But as far as over the phone talks and consultation, those are completely different. I've had multiple people call me from YouTube and Facebook, and we just chop it up and talk dog talk. But as far as like how I accomplish something, like things that I would charge people for in person, I still charge for that. Like I make a living off of this. This is what I'm going to do when I'm retired. And the business is still a business. I'm still a business oriented person. I'm a sole proprietor company moving on to an LLC, which means I have an employee identification number, all of that, right? But we're not gonna talk about the business side of it. I can go into business in another episode. The thing we're talking about right now is the community. Also, like Kenner gave a great point, and it was when you're building these communities, understand rabies vaccinations, understand these things, but also understand caliber of weapons. Like I want to say it was Soul Power that talked about the 10 millimeter versus the 40 cal. I have been researching what caliber to use to kill a hog. I've never shot a hog in my life. All right. Now I'm talking about this, but I've never done it. I'm just giving you what I've researched. I'm like, this is what I've been researching. This is what I'm going to do. I know that I don't want to go below a 270 to shoot a hog. I don't want to use a 270. I don't even want to use my 40 cal. 308, absolutely. The round I've been looking at specifically out of the 30 caliber rounds is a 30-30. I want to kind of do this with like a lever action 30-30. I want to be that close, or I'm gonna do it with slugs. Because like I said, I'm not personally intending to eat the meat. This is gonna be for my dogs. Like I would kill a boar or a hog, have it butchered, and then have the meat stored in my not my walk-in freezer, but my deep freezer for the dogs for throughout the year. And then I would commingle this meat with their kibble. I also see a lot of people getting into chickens right now, right? Like I don't know anything about chickens, so like I would trade information, dog information for chicken information. Everything doesn't have to be financially paid for with like money. Like I believe in sweat tax. If there's something you know or information you have that I don't have, I'll barter that with you. You know what I mean? We just have to come to an agreement, which means you have to actually be able to talk and understand business. Everything is contractual. Anything I ask you for can be met with a counter offer. This is how life goes. And that's the kind of community I'm trying to create. Is a community where you don't have to like deal with the BS. Absolutely. And that was told to me by somebody who hunts with retrievers. He was, we were talking about, like, I was asking him what he uses to take deer, and he said a 30-30, but he said it takes down most American game. Almost any animal in America, to include the moose, in North America can be taken down with a lever action 30-30 with a properly placed shot. I've also been learning Absolutely, man. So like that's the thing I'm saying. Like, so I know with chickens, there's this thing called coccidia, right? And a lot of times it comes from fowl and their fecal matter. I don't really understand it. I don't really have birds around my dogs like that. And when birds are in my area, I typically dispatch them, right? But that's information that if you got it, like we can share it. Also, if y'all not following Soul Power, y'all tripping. Like my man's does his lives. He has his channel. Go ahead and when you're done with his live, click on his channel, go follow him. Hey, so the Scar 17, is that chambered at 308? Or is do those also come in 458 SOCOM too? Like those big old SOCOM rounds? And then for the AR-15, I've heard people say they do hog hunt with them, but they say it's not an ethical shot. It's not an ethical kill shot to do hogs with the AR-15, even in 5.56. But they do have AR-10s, obviously 308 AR-10s that would do the work. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that kind of money for an AR-10. A lever action 30-30 can be had for under $1,000. That's to me is the goal. Also, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Did I have to qualify at CADM to shoot to be able to shoot at 300 yards? Yes. Can I consistently do it? Hell no. Being 100% transparent, like I want my shots to be 100 yards or less so I can get an ethical, clean kill. Because it's not just about killing the animal. It's about taking it out in a way that's ethical. And 7.62 by 5.1 specific scar. Yeah. All right. Cool. And then the 5.56. Yeah. 5.56. It has the knockdown power to kill a hog, but I don't know if I would shoot a hog with it either. That's me. My shot placement is not that great. Can I hit it? Yes. Am I gonna hit it where I need to hit it at? No. At 300 yards, can I hit the hog? Absolutely. But I'm probably gonna hit it somewhere that's just gonna probably hit the shield or something like that, and I'm not gonna take it out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's just being 100% transparent. Keeping it real with y'all. But yeah, that's the kind of community I'm trying to have. In Arizona, there's actually a hunting reserve that I'm gonna go to, so I'm gonna do paid hunts. I don't have to own the land, but I'll share this information with you because you can get into it as well. The Moses, yeah. I see people with the Moses. I'm not gonna lie, like I like the nostalgia of the lever action weapon. I think it's just dope. You know what I'm saying? I really just think it's just dope. 6.5 Creedmoor, yeah. Those are newer rounds to me though, like because the Creedmoor I wasn't even familiar with those until probably about 2017, or even the 6.5 Grendel. But yeah, this is kind of dope too, man. Because like I get on here talking about dogs, but like I think almost everybody who's into dogs is into like other things that the dog people talk about. You know, trucks, cars, guns. Like we're all red-blooded Americans, man. And I really love this community for that. I fight for people to have the right, or I'm in the military and serve for people to have the right to do and say as they please. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest issue I have with people is when they come at me about doing what I want to do, and I'm like, well, you didn't even serve. No offense to anybody who didn't serve. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to sound ungrateful. What I am saying is I do what I do so that other people have the right to do what they do and do it freely. And that's exactly the kind of lifestyle I want to live. Like I ain't out here to try to hurt nobody. I just want to enjoy life and enjoy it more abundantly. That's it. At the end of the day, that's it. Peace and blessings to all of y'all. Hey, y'all, so we hitting that 63-minute mark. Y'all know I don't keep y'all on here for much longer than an hour. This has been a great live. I appreciate the engagement. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. Please, when this live is over, share the live so that other people can check it once it populates up. And if y'all need to reach out to me, y'all can hit me at samurai-kennels@gmail.com. Send me an email with your specific questions. You can also find me on Facebook at Samurai Kennels Facebook, as well as Instagram. My logo is the same on all of my platforms, so you're going to know it's me. On any platform you go on for Samurai Kennels, it has the same, like, it might be a different color of the logo, but it's the same logo. Don't forget to hit the apparel link up if you want to cop some Samurai Kennels merch. If y'all ain't peeping this morning for my coffee talk, I got my Samurai Kennels cups as well as my t-shirts and more gear on the way. We about to get up out of here though. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to chop it up with y'all this morning. But I gotta go because I actually gotta go to my other job, or one of my 3 jobs right now. So I'm gonna holler at y'all and I'll see you later.